Good morning. This is Alex McBath, Operations Chief for Team 5. This is your morning update for August 11th on the Monument Fire. So over yesterday's burn period and last night, the fire grew about 5,000 acres. It grew in multiple areas, but nothing large, no large runs or real active fire behavior that came out and made long runs of a mile or more. So I'm going to walk you around the fire here real quick, and we'll start at the south end of the fire, which is Crowell Bottoms area, the 47 Road, Mud Springs area. Hayfork Bali is down right here at the end of this black and all the way along there and down the 47 Road and the power lines. Everything was fairly quiet last night. We did get some spots, but they were small spots down on the power line, and they were picked up at 10 by 10 or less. Overall, the fire did back down a little bit more on the south side, but no big growth that was of concern. Moving over to the west side, the Burnt Ranch area. Firefighters were engaged in Fredericks Road most of the day and night last night. They were really successful in picking up all the spots except for one across the Fredericks Road, and then also bringing some control features down the Fredericks Road to Highway 299. There is one spot that hasn't crossed our dozer line out heading down to 299. It's still on the east side of the dozer line, and they're feeling pretty good that it'll stay there. We did have contingency out in the Burnt Ranch area and working further down Salyer, Trinity Village. They're taking a look at where the next lines could go if something should go haywire or the winds change, environmental factors push this fire. The second thing is just on the north side of the river, Trinity River, just below Ironsides Lookout on Ironsides Mountain, the fire is still continuing to grow to the east or to the west and to the north, incrementally kind of getting into these drainages and burning these drainages out in the old previous fire scars. So far, no concerns. It's really steep, real steep, and we can't get any firefighters in that area, so we're monitoring that. Coming across the north end from Ironsides Mountain over to French Creek was all pretty static last night and yesterday. No huge growth in there. Down in the bottom of French Creek drainage, there was some growth yesterday. Up the drainage in some fuel that was left over from the previous fire scars. We don't expect that that's going to go a lot further this afternoon, but it could burn a little bit more up in the headwaters of the French Creek drainage. All along the Highway 299 corridor, things were fairly quiet last night. No issues. We had patrol in there all day, and we had some folks in there last night and mopping up anything that popped up heat-wise. Coming on along into Big Bar, the Rose Ranch area, that's looking a lot better now. They got fire down to some of the roads up in that road system, and Big Bar is looking really secure now, so pretty happy about that. And then around into Big Flat, they're monitoring, patrolling the structures in there, and everything was fairly quiet yesterday and last night. Coming around in the North Fork, the fire is starting to advance north along the North Fork, which is where we want to keep it, the west side of the North Fork, and nothing's crossed the North Fork as of today. So everything's looking good in there. It is backing and flanking up the North Fork, and if it continues along that, we'll be looking pretty good for the time being. They did start contingency line both on the east side of the North Fork, and they're finishing up contingency line down along Dutch Creek Road, so that's going real well. The contingency line that was put in at Felcher's Gulch up to Gunnison Gap is completed. That's looking really good. And they're starting to move the contingency lines around in the Rattlesnake Gap Carter Ranch area, as well as they started and are continuing perimeter control on the spot, basically trying to keep it south of the 41 road or upslope from the 41 road and tying it back into the Trinity River. Main focus is to keep fire out of Cooper's Gulch and those residents along the north side of Junction City. We did quite a bit of scouting up here on the Hayfork Divide. The Hayfork Divide looks really, really good. It's going to need just a little bit of touch-up, but their main focus is going to be looking at some of the contingency down there for the overhead, making sure that we find good good lines and ridges to put some contingency line on, so we're prepared. And then coming around into Hayfork Volley, this piece up here that slopped over still backing, but no major runs up here in the headwaters of Miners Creek. So everything overall, it grew about 5,000 acres yesterday, but that was a total growth on a 60,000 acre fire around the whole thing, so fairly quiet. We do have a contingency group, like I said, in Burnt Ranch, and we still have the contingency group that's supporting us from the state. So we're getting good support and with the timber companies. So with that, that's today, August 11th update. Thank you.